Queen of Hearts, original title Dronningen, out in cinemas now. It's a Danish psychological drama and I'd say a character study at the same time. So the story is centered around Anne, who's a middle-aged lawyer. She has a husband and two young daughters. Both she and her husband seem to live in a slightly cold and distant relationship, emotionally speaking. At the beginning of the film, both focusing on their work rather than the family life. The husband, Peter, has an underage son, Gustav, from a previous marriage. Now, this son has lived with his mother all his life, and apparently he's a troubled kid. After being thrown out of another school, he is brought to live with Peter and Anne. And at the beginning, he doesn't fit in with the family, nor does he even try to, and there is visible strain between him and the rest of the family. However, as things progress, Anne slowly begins to warm up to him, too much so as they begin to have an affair. Now, because of the topic, it's a heavy film. There's a lot of emotional darkness here. I would say that it's unpleasant to watch in a good way, because it should be unpleasant to see those events unfold as they do. And I have to say the movie is mostly made by the central performance. Trini Durholm is terrific as Anna. She absolutely sells this character with a lot of really subtle acting, where seemingly on the surface she's always calm and collected and just a regular person, but below that there's always something entirely else just boiling. And I think a lot of the praise should also go to the way the story is presented, because that's done in an intelligent way, with a lot of respect for the viewer. See, a lot of films nowadays will just use exposition through dialogue to tell you everything. Here you have to piece some of the things together. A lot of the stuff is not obvious from the get-go. There's even a little suggested subplot going on related to Anne's past and the fact that she's a lawyer, mostly for abused people. And it's clear that she has a personal stake in those topics. Again, this is never stated outright, never spelled out for the viewer, but there are several clues left throughout the film that suggest a certain something has happened to her in the past, which makes it all the more interesting in the context of her relationship with Gustav. Two other things that I really enjoyed: music, used very responsibly and in just the right amounts. I thought it worked extremely well to set the right mood in certain scenes. And the second is the cinematography that goes for framing of the shots. The camera very often shows us Anne inside a door frame or a window frame, or just boxed in by the walls. And I think that was done in a very much intentional way to reinforce what's going on in her story. And the use of color. The first 20 minutes of the film are done in those cold grays and blues, which reflect the temperature of the family relationships. And then, as Gustav gets integrated into the family and Anne begins her affair with him, we switch over to warm, bright yellows and oranges, a lot more sun and light in the shots. Overall, I thought it was a really good film, an examination of this character where repressed emotions suddenly come out in a massively twisted way and have life-changing consequences. It's competent in its every aspect, and I thought it accomplishes everything it sets out to do.